Hello, and welcome back to the Pace Studio, live from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Today we have Wade Bowen with us. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Sure. Wade has a new record about to be released called Solid Ground, out February 9th, and he's going to play a few songs from that record. So tell us a little bit about the first song you're going to play.
This song is actually the first track off the record, and we kind of finished it the morning of the first day. That's kind of the way this whole project went. We were writing in the studio as we went, which was a lot of fun because you kind of figure out what you have and what you don't have. And with this being the first track of the record, we kind of set the tone for the rest of the project. I feel like this project is a little different from anything I've ever done. It's a little edgier, a little more rock influenced, a little more honest, a little more raw. So this song really sums all that up to me, and very different from all the other stuff I've done in the past. It's called Couldn't Make You Love Me. It goes like this. Captain on the Brazos Queen, three-piece suit, top hat, diamond cufflinks. They came from up and down the river, yeah, just to kiss the ring of the man with his hands on the wheel of the Brazos Queen. Yeah, and you were there too, but you weren't impressed. You just laughed at me. I guess you couldn't care less. If I could move a mountain, if I could part the sea, if I could walk on water, I still couldn't make you love. Sitting on a pile of Spanish gold. That me and Smith and Wesson took off a bank in Mexico. When the smoke finally cleared, I rode as fast as a horse could go, heading straight for the sun with a pile of Spanish gold. I brought it all to you, but you weren't impressed. You just laughed at me like you couldn't care less. I could move a mountain, if I could part the sea, if I could walk on water, I still couldn't make you love me. Make you love me. Whoa, I want you to love me. When I woke up, I was lying in a pool of sweat. I'd been hanging on a cross, holes in both my hands. Yeah, and you were there too, but you couldn't care less. I could move a mountain, yeah, I could part the sea, yeah, I could walk on water, but I still couldn't make. I could move a mountain, yeah, I could part the sea. Well, I could walk on Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
That was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I was reading about red dirt as a genre and its influence on your music. It's something we don't have here in New York and probably don't hear much about. Yeah, no red dirt, kind of like, wet snow dirt often.
Yeah.
But tell us about how that genre has inspired your music and maybe how this album expands on that classic sound a little bit.
Yeah, red dirt has become this, it seems like the last 15 years or so, kind of become this own thing. People always talk about Texas, how you can, literally if you want to, as an artist there, you can stay in Texas and never leave and make a really good living playing the bars and the honky tonks. I've always claimed, I've always tried to be more than just a Texas or a red dirt artist. I've always tried to be an artist from Texas so that when we come to New York, people can understand, hey, he's an artist from Texas, because Texas music to me is so much more than just red dirt music. It's George Strait. It's also Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's also ZZ Top. There's so many different kinds of influence. Texas to me is country. It is rock. It is Americana. It is blues, all in this big boiling pot of goodness. And so that's where this record really, to me, more than the red dirt side of it. For me, that's what this record really we were trying to do. I call this the Texas record because it is solid ground where I'm from, born and raised, and still live in Texas. But I think there's a sonic sound that comes from Texas, this kind of gritty, dirty, raw, honest feel. And so I just, in the same way that Springsteen, he's a huge influence of mine. I'm a nerd, named my son Bruce, for crying out loud, So in the same way that Springsteen... growing up listening to him, I didn't know anything about Jersey or this whole area, and you experience all of that in his albums and know exactly where he's from, but it's very universal at the same time. So that's kind of the approach that we try to use with this. We want it to be universal, but we also want to put a stamp on, hey, he's from here, and this is sonically and lyrically the majority of the record and what it's all about.
Totally.
Yeah.
So tell us about the second song you're going to play.
Second song is actually a very good example of that. This is the most unique song I've ever cut. My producer is Keith Gaddis. He's also a Texas guy, so he really understood the Texas approach. And he actually asked me to help him finish this song, and I was like, man, you're crazy. It's already done. So this is a song that he wrote. And it's very, I mentioned country, rock, blues, Americana, but I left out Tejano. This is very, very influential down where I live, just north of San Antonio. And this is a very Tex-Mex flavored song, I guess would be the best way to put it. Definitely the most unique song I've probably ever cut in my career. It's called Day of the Dead, which is a very, very popular, very, very popular holiday in the Mexican culture. So. It's 110 here in Lajitas. Pinata's on the promenade. Sunday best painted faces lining up for the parade. All the river is down here in Lajitas, staring down the banks of Mexico, wondering if they'd even notice if I slipped across and just kept drifting on. It's the Day of the Dead here in Lajitas. Dirt's still fresh under the stone. Now our love's gone home to Jesus. You're wearing white in San Antonio. vaquero from Nogales. He said he once wore my shoes. Finally left them in some alley in Juarez. Oh, and he had nothing left to lose. It's the day of the dead here in Lajitas. Dirt still fresh under the stone. Now our love's gone home to Jesus. You're wearing white in San Antonio. Dreamed I heard the mariachi singing. You and I dancing toe to toe, barefoot on the pale Saltillo. And I woke up clinging to a goal. It's the day of the dead here in Lajitas. Dirt still fresh under the stone. Now our love's gone home to Jesus. You're wearing white in San Antonio. Yeah, now our love's gone home to Jesus. You're wearing white. You're wearing white in San Antonio. Will Knack on the guitar. Yeah. Caleb Jones on the bass, by the way.
Yeah, some
Phenomenal
very
players.
sick guitar on that one.
Yes,
very
for sure.
cool sounds. So I was also reading about a specific festival in the desert that inspired some of the making of this record. So I'm wondering if you have any crazy stories or anything you would like to share from that time.
Oh, crazy stories in the desert? Other than drinking too much sangria wine and tequila together and ending up in the Marfa Lights. You ever heard of the Marfa Lights?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of that area. That actually, Lajitas is what I'm saying in that last song, Day of the Dead. It's like there's a festival. It was I don't remember the name of the festival, but that's where my producer and I hung out and had quite a good time in Lajitas. It's literally in the middle of nowhere, and I don't know if I have any great stories that I could probably tell you and still look you in the eye, but
That's fair.
people can imagine. You're in the middle of nowhere in the desert having fun, so use your imagination. You're probably accurate.
Yeah. Do you feel like that inspires anything in terms of songwriting?
Oh, of course. I mean, there's something very humbling about being out in that area of the country, in our state. It's just very humbling. That's the best way to put it. You feel small, and you feel overwhelmed in a lot of ways emotionally, and you just, yeah, of course, it inspires all kinds of writing. That's where the song came from, was a South Texas thing. I haven't written a whole lot about, South Texas, the border towns and stuff, and I kind of touched a lot on that on this record, or tried to. And a lot of this, as I'm older, looking back on my career, this year marks 20 years of me playing music full time. So looking back on my career, I kind of looked at things haven't written about yet, and that's one of the things, being out in the middle of nowhere is very humbling and very inspiring in all the same breath.
Cool. So tell us about this last song.
Last song is it's called "So Long 6th Street." This is a song that is about, I went to college in West Texas and Lubbock, and when I graduated, I moved to Austin for 2 years, and had to leave because Austin never sleeps. But the 2 years I lived in Austin, I realized everything I'd done in West Texas. I'd played for about 3 years in West Texas and built a pretty decent following. And once I got to Austin, I realized everything you do in West Texas, nobody else in the world hears about. So it was kind of a little disheartening to realize I was moving to Austin to play music and hopefully continue this really cool thing that was going. And I felt like I was just starting all over again. I was driving everywhere by myself, paid for an apartment at the place in Austin, but I was literally at my house maybe 3 or 4 days a month. I'd play somewhere on a Saturday, beg the owner to let me crash at his house, and stay till Monday to play for $75 or $100. That was that time. And so I look at that 2 years as the biggest struggle of my career, not my life, but the biggest struggle of my career, and also the most I've ever learned in my career, and realized that I, did and want to do this and how to do this for the rest of my life. And also got my heart broken like crazy in that 2 years, and then within that same span met my wife now. So definitely a fun, crazy 2 years that I wouldn't trade for the world. So it's called "So Long 6th Street." I actually had Miranda Lambert and Jack Ingram, who were heavy Austin people. Jack actually lives in Austin, and Miranda actually just bought a house there last year. So it's cool to have them as a part of this song as well. So. So long, 6th Street. Yeah, I think it's time. I'm all out of quarters to play. I'm all out of rhymes. I got a few loose strings I'm gonna have to leave behind. Please don't hold it against me. I think we both know why. Yeah, I think we both know why. So long, 6th Street. Gonna miss you under my feet. Well, sometimes I gotta run till I can find a heartbeat. Telling her when you see her that I was too weak. Well, to look her in the eye, I hate her when she cries anyway. Anyway, I think she's probably better off without me. So long, 6th Street. I'm gonna miss you under my feet. Yeah, so long in tones. Oh, it's you I'll miss the most. I've stumbled on from your arms. How many times I just don't know. Maybe you could leave a light on in case I come back around. On my way to looking for me, some lost and found town. So long, 6th Street. I'm gonna miss you under my feet. Well, sometimes I gotta run till I can find a heartbeat. Telling her when you see her that I was too weak. What miss you under my feet. Ooh, yeah. So long, so long, so long, 6th Street. Gonna miss you under my feet. Well, sometimes I gotta run till I can find a heartbeat. And telling her when you see her that I was too weak. What to look her in the eye, I hate it when she cries anyway. But anyway, I think she's probably better off without me. So long, 6th Street. Gonna miss you under my feet. Yeah, so long, 6th Street. Thank you.
Thank you very so much, guys. Thank you for being here. Wade Bowen, his album is out February 9th. It's called Solid Ground. He's on tour now, correct?
Always on tour.
WadeBowen.com is where you can find those tour dates, and you'll be back in New York on March 9th at Terminal 5 to play for us. So
yes,
everyone should go check you out.
For sure.
Please come back and visit us anytime. That was amazing.
My pleasure. It's an honor to be here. I love this. I love this episode or this series. It's awesome. So very cool. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.